Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we've almost got our satellite where we want it. But let's go ahead and finish that off, shall we? Let's just go ahead and set our maneuver to be right here. We'll add a maneuver there, and then this should just be a prograde maneuver, realistically. And we do want it to actually be here. That's exciting, isn't it? It didn't quite push out the periapsis to be where I wanted it to be. Let's just go ahead and move it over here a little bit. It's a little better. But let's move it slightly further. That was not the direction I wanted to move it. Okay, let's get rid of that. Move it slightly further to be right about there. And then let's try to push it a little more prograde. No, I don't want to do a radial. I want to move it. Get rid of that. Move it to be right about here or so. Then a little more prograde. We can... No, I don't want a radial burn. You can stop with the radial burns. I just want to move it. Seriously. I just want to move the position of the burn. To be a little bit more like... here. That'll do for now. And then a little bit more prograde, but not that prograde. Will that do? Yeah, I'd say that's good enough. Okay, let's go ahead and warp to that maneuver. Excellent. Get rid of a couple of these screen messages. We still do get several of them, but not, you know, an unsustainable amount like before. This is going to be an incredibly tiny burn. I'm just going to go ahead and lock pure to prograde because it's going to be nothing but prograde. And then 0.2 seconds. Like, realistically, I'm going to warp forward a little bit, and I'm going to start the burn very, very cautiously at about 2 seconds. Three, two. Like that. That was perfection. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that that is good enough. Now, we could adjust this equatorial orbit ComSat, but I think ultimately this is probably good. Like, realistically, odds are, theoretically, that we're always going to have a connection. I hope. Like this. That's the theory, anyway. So let's head on back to the Space Center and see where we need to go next. Like, what do we need to do next? Do we need to return to the moon? Do we need to... what needs to happen here? We've got 680 science currently. We've got 1.2 million space bucks. We do have 7 active contracts. We need to plant a new flag on the moon. Plant a flag on Minmus. Surface outpost on Minmus. Synchronous orbit of Duna. That is something that... does it have to be synchronous over a particular point? No? Just synchronous? Or, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. Sounds good. So, realistically, do we want to do this now? I mean, we'd have to build a new satellite with an array of science. I feel like right now, let's take a look inside of our R&D. And let's see here. We were heading towards advanced science tech, which we actually do have enough science to get, which would allow us to get the ionographer. Ionographer is the way you pronounce that one. I don't know where I was coming from there. But, I think... How much would it cost to upgrade this? 1.7 million. Yikes. That's a lot. We do have a fundraising campaign right now. Okay, with that being the case, we need to do a contract, and I feel like one of these that pays the most. A surface outpost on Minmus pays a good amount. Flag on Moon and Minmus, we can do at the same time as the surface outpost on Minmus. So that would be like that would be about 500k right there. We could theoretically do that, but I would really prefer to have the ionographer before we do that. Realistically speaking. Green sandstone is, of course, from Minmus as well. I guess maybe we do the satellite in synchronous orbit of Duna. Just as a, like, temporary stopgap to try to make some money. But I don't think we're going to make quite enough from doing that, although we'll get significant prestige. I'm just trying to decide here. Well, I guess we could bring the Flea 2L, and we could set up the surface outpost on Minmus. Now, what are the requirements of the surface outpost on Minmus? A facility supporting at least 8 Kerbals. This is 3. 1,000 units of monopropellant. That's interesting. A research lab on the outpost. Okay, so realistically, do we need to bring this thing back? Not really. The idea would be we land it there, and then when we come back, well, we do actually need to come back at some point, of course. We can bring them back, like, piecemeal. We could land just one Kerbal there, potentially. Like, we could send just Valentina there. We would have to redesign the lander module here, for sure. So, realistically, what would we need in this thing? Well, we would need a research lab, which is pretty big and heavy. How do I want to do this? We could change up our pod, because this thing is not coming back, okay? What the plan is that this is going to be a permanent outpost and the initial core of our moon base, or our Minmus base even. So it's going to take some pretty sizable engineering to pull this off. Let's go ahead and get rid of our standard heavy lifter booster for right now, and we'll stick that over there. And let's take a quick look at our re-entry module. What is going to need to change here? Well, we're definitely going to need to get rid of everything up here, in my opinion. So let's just take this off, get rid of it, and we're going to call this the Flea 2 base core. Like that. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And then let's just go ahead and detach this section here as well. And let's change up what module we have as our core module. And I would like it to be... Let's see, that's a crew capacity of 1 for the inline cockpit. I kind of feel like that is ideal-ish. So let's have an inline cockpit here. And then this is our lander. Now we want to keep this as small as possible. Like, if, for example, I was to do this and take the mobile processing lab and stick that guy right here, well, this thing's going to be really top-heavy. What is the weight of the mobile processing lab? Yeah, 3.5 tons. This is going to be really top-heavy if we do it like this. So we're going to have to think about it. Should we perhaps send the processing lab separately as a module that we can dock into this after landing? So, like, hypothetically, we would have some docking ports maybe like out here on the fuel tanks, or maybe we would jettison the fuel tanks after we land and have the docking ports in here. That would be theoretically possible, except that the fuel tanks are holding our landing legs. So I think that would be a bad idea. So I suppose what we could do is we could go to our docking ports, which is, I believe, under coupling? Yeah, we've got the Clampotron Docking Port Junior, but I'm not sure we have anything else right now. We do not. Okay, so we would be able to hypothetically put on, say, if we go into quad symmetry, one here and one here. So that way we have several docking ports available. And then we'd be able to just roll in the science module. I mean, it wouldn't go there, but we'd be able to just roll it in horizontally with a docking port here and just bring it in on wheels like that, theoretically. And of course that wouldn't be quad symmetry, that'd be single symmetry. Something along the lines of that would be what it would end up looking like. And then we're just able to bring in modules in each of these locations. We'd have 8 expansion locations. And like I said, this would be essentially the core of the base. This isn't going to actually be the base. The base will be substantially more than this. Now with that said, the question then becomes, well, for one thing, we don't need this heat shield. But apparently everything is attached to the heat shield. It's a little exciting. Well, we're going to have to go ahead and detach this here then. Oh, but that's everything. Yeah, just attach that. We don't need a heat shield, so we can ditch that. And the decoupler. We're not going to be needing that decoupler. Do we need a service bay here? I mean, I feel like it's handy to have, but I don't think we need the science experiments. The science experiments can come in a separate module. And inside of this, the primary thing that I want to have is batteries. Specifically, Z400 batteries. Let's go into mirror symmetry here. And I would like to have it mirroring across the other axis. That would be ideal. Why isn't it mirroring across the other axis anyway? Oh well. We'll go ahead and put these right here. And then another set up on the top. Something like that. They barely fit, but that's okay. And they're sticking out a little bit. That's less okay. I'm going to use the move tool to fix that. Get in there. There you go. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got our batteries in. That will allow us to have a fair amount of storage. And then we want our engine attached here. We can get rid of this decoupler, for now, anyway. And then I would love to reattach this thing. We do need to be in radial symmetry, though, and we'll quad couple that right on in to be somewhere like here. Do we have fuel? I'm not sure if this is providing fuel or not. I think it is maybe not. Oh, because our staging is totally messed up. Right. There we go. That's a little bit better. Although we do want the nose cones to decouple before this stage. There we go. Okay, so this thing also needs to be able to have 1,000 units of monopropellant, of all things, according to the contract. I think we'll send that with this particular launch, but a lot of the other things we will not. Let's see, where is our monopropellant tank? We've got the radial tanks here. Just gonna search. Okay. That's 750 units. Oh my, 1,000 units is a lot of units. That's 400 units. That's 120. We would need a lot of these. Look at how much monopropellant that is. So 120, 240, 360, 480, 600, 720, 840, 860, 980. That's enough monopropellant to satisfy the contract. That's only slightly ridiculous. Okay, we're not bringing this much monopropellant with us. We're bringing maybe this much monopropellant with us for now, and then we'll just keep attaching more via the expansion ports for now. Okay, well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we will continue designing our base core. Subscribe for more, and I will see you all next time.